All right. Are we good? We're live? Okay. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. It is now 6 p.m., and this is a regular City Commission meeting of the City of West Miami. This meeting is called to order. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. Let's bow our heads. Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill callings for sustenance and our friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. Thank you for loving us even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. Amen.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, item 3, roll call. Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón.
Here.
Vice Mayor Juan Blanes.
Here.
Commissioner Ivan Chavez Jr. He's excused. Commissioner Natalie Emiliano Orbis.
Here.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Next item.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for January 10, 2024 regular commission meeting and January 29, 2024 regular commission and special commission meeting, actually.
Do we have a motion on those?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item.
Item 5, public comments.
Anyone here for public comments? Generally, seeing none. Next item.
Item 6, report of the city manager.
Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission, Vice Mayor. Welcome to all the residents. I have a couple things I want to do. First of all, I want to start off with introducing Gladys Bilbrout, which is our new office manager for the building department. One of the things that we had, Gladys, if you can come up. One of the things that you had charged me with was to make sure that our building department ran a little bit smoother and we would have better services. Starting this week, we have a completely new crew doing building inspections and plan reviews, and we've been getting accolades because now we're doing inspections on demand and not just once a week. If you would like to say a couple words.
The feedback that we've gotten is really, hello. The feedback that we've gotten is really positive because we're, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and whenever there's an emergency, we're able to have them at any time. So far, so good.
Good. It's been quite the headache for a lot of people building their homes and renovating the community. So that's excellent news. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
And we're also getting very close to implementing a rollout on computer, on you being able to do things online.
Permitting?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Beautiful.
I also want to bring up our finance director. She's going to do a very quick quarterly update on the first part of the first part of this year. Isabel?
Good evening, everybody. I have a few slides. Okay. So we started the fiscal year. That was my first day on the job. This is now a quarterly recap of October, November, and December. Before you, you see a graph with 4 bars. It is actually comparing budgets, October, November, December, through to actuals. The short of it is basically the revenue exceeds the actual revenue exceeds the budgeted, and the expenditures still remain below budgeted, so it is compounded favorably. This analysis is based on straight lining the entire year, so a timing difference is not reflected. So as the year will progress, we're going to see that the variances may narrow and the revenue will normalize to the year as the year progresses. But so far, we're in a really good standing.
One quick question.
Yes.
Last year, as compared to this year, were there any exceeding expenses last year that we don't have this year that would make what you just mentioned?
I have
that's-
that in a process to study and analyze. I have not been able to compare fully prior year, the first 3 months. It's just
Okay.
been too many things to tackle. But on the next quarter, which is the mid-year, I will be performing the analysis with the comparison to the prior year as well. So we
Yeah.
know where we stand compared to the prior year, because yes.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how, let's say, last year compares to this year, and
Yes.
how, you know, you just mentioned that the expenses are below the,
The budgeted,
the-
yes.
The budgeted, yeah. That's really intriguing.
It's not, so the revenue far exceeds right now, and that's mostly because the property taxes that have been slated for this year have mostly come in, and the timing of that is not equally over 12 months. It's a great chunk of it in November and December. That's why we're so ahead on the revenue. And on the expenses, we are a little bit more in line with how we budgeted. So that is mostly going to continue. That trend is going to continue, and then you'll see the revenue will normalize, and we should be about in good standing throughout the rest of the year is what I'm forecasting, because we've done pretty good the first 3 months with the expenses.
That's great, thank you, great news.
I don't know how to change the slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, essentially, I wanted to just do a recap of the first two. The first slide is comparing governmental and enterprise funds. And for anyone who is not completely aware, the governmental and the enterprise funds are budgeted about 45% governmental and enterprise is 55%. So it's almost half and half. And right now, our governmental is much higher, again, by the property taxes. So it should normalize at the end of the year, towards the end of the year. Technically challenged at the moment. I have just 2 more slides. Okay. This next slide is essentially cash and investments for all the funds represented in thousands. And, okay. When I was hired, I was asked to maximize our funds, our reserves, and basically earn as much income through them as possible. Year to date, we have earned $194,000. And we have also been tasked with closing the numerous accounts. We had a large volume of accounts, 38 when I started. And now we're down to 27. And they will not go down much further than this. But the funds have also been shifted towards those institutions, which I've met with numerous local institutions to see how we can maximize the funds. And right now, I believe we are going to exceed the year-to-date, the yearly interest earned of $340,000 that was earned last year. I think we're going to be in the 400, but I don't want to overcommit. Depends on how this year plays out. But right now, we're steadily projected to far surpassed that number.
And that was just by moving money into interest-bearing accounts,
Interest-bearing accounts, and then also negotiating interest
of course.
to be the maximum, yes.
All right.
It also, the closing of the accounts reduces risk and of exposure. And the last thing I wanted to touch base on is throughout this first quarter, I've been tasked with modernizing our accounting department, and that involved an accounting software implementation, which was approved by the council November 29th. There was a kickoff January 3rd. We're in the environmental design stage, which they are going to cater just for us. And we will begin training towards the end of March and go live in April. At the same time, we are going to be doing MuniLink, which is also the software that was approved for the utilities. And that is also starting now in March.
In a recap, I think the takeaways here is, and comes from my years at this, and expenditures are about 12% below in the first quarter,
Correct.
which is really what I'm tracking. I want to make sure their expenditures stay as low as we possibly can, so we're not misspending money. It's important to note that we're gaining quite a lot of money in interest, which we didn't know we would be able to do so. And that's kudos to our finance director to be able to go out and negotiate a high interest rate and move that money, frankly, from some accounts that were bearing 0% interest to higher things that are paying for more. And the fact that we're implementing and moving everything to a paperless system. We found a closet up here on the second story that had, how many, it was 60 boxes, 90 boxes?
60 boxes.
Of old records. We had records scattered everywhere on campus.
From the 90s.
From the 90s, some that they're not even relevant anymore, but we've had to go through all of it, manage it, and bring it forward. With that, I think we conclude the finance, with the exception of one thing. I want to also introduce her new assistant, which is George Roger, that just started with us. He is
Julio.
back.
Julio.
Julio.
I was going to say, I've met him. I don't think it's...
If I don't mess up somebody's name every night, we got a problem. So, and I want to introduce Julio Rogers.
Welcome.
Julio's is going to be a great asset.
No, we appreciate it. We like what you guys are doing. Keep it up. And hopefully we'll get there very soon, especially in the resident-facing stuff, which is like the utilities and stuff that people have been complaining about for a long time. So we're very happy that that you guys are doing this and the pace you guys are doing this. So,
Mr. Mayor, a
you.
couple other quick things
Yep.
on my manager's report. If you drive around, you'll see that we started in, thank you guys. We started to install our speed tables. We've got 3 already in, and we just didn't do any today because of the rain, but we'll be back at it starting tomorrow, hopefully, if rain cooperates with us. If you drive in, you're seeing some changes, anticipated changes in City Hall. We're trying to secure our campus because we do have major conflicts that we're trying to eliminate, and that will be rolling out in the next few weeks as well. As you all well know, we put in a new electronic sign up front, which modernizes what we're doing and gives out plenty of information. And in anticipation of a request that I'm going to be making in the next couple of weeks, I am going to be asking for a special commission meeting to discuss the rec center, the tree grants, so we can move forward on both of those exciting items. And lastly, if you see some ribbons around trees, some black olive trees out there, all that means is that we're getting ready to do an injection so we can stop the mites and the infestations that they get. That is what produces the staining of the sidewalks and all that. And with these injections, it will kill the mites and kill the infestation and help those trees become healthy and keep our tree city the way it's meant to be. With that, we're also, one last thing I want to touch base on is that we are in the process of installing security cameras at all our parks for safety. Should have been done a long time ago, but it wasn't. But we will have them in within the next month or so. And for right now, that concludes my presentation, unless you have any questions of me.
No, is there any questions to the manager on his report? None? Okay, next item.
Item 7, report of the city attorney.
Any report?
We have been in a quest in a red light camera for almost a year and a half. There was an initial brief. There were 4 amended briefs with substantial addendums. There was a hearing by a tribunal because it was appealed to the appellate court of the circuit court. It was ruled in our favor. It was a subsequent motion which was opposed by us in a motion to strike, and we granted the motion to strike, so we won again. And this gentleman now is appealing to the 3rd District Court of Appeal, allegedly stating that he represents, or his case would impact thousands of people, implying that there's a class action lawsuit, which is, of course, I think that the court will come and rule in our favor, but allegedly, in his case, he claims that it could be thousands of cases in which we have a lot of interest in it.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions of the attorney on his report? Seeing none. Next item.
Item 8, report of the city engineer.
I don't see him. I'm assuming he has a report. No report.
No.
Next item.
Item 9, committee reports.
Anyone for committee reports? Hearing none. Next item.
Item 10, unfinished business.
Well, I'd like to take an item out of order at this moment, because I know we have some officers in uniform in the back there, so I don't want to keep them here all night. New business item C.
Yes, 11C, presentation of proclamation to Police Officer Anthony Suardias, nominated to Officer of the Month, December 2023, Miami-Dade County Association of Chiefs of Police, for his heroic actions. This item is sponsored by Commissioner Emiliano Ortiz.
Chief.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and Commission, Mr. Manager. So let me go ahead and read from the commendation. The West Miami Police Department and the city wish to honor and congratulate Officer Anthony Suardias for receiving the prestigious Officer of the Month Award for December 2023 from the Miami-Dade Chiefs of Police Association. His exceptional actions and life-saving techniques displayed during a critical incident on December 23rd, 2023. At approximately 5 a.m. on that day, Officer Suardias responded to a distress call at 6417 Southwest 11th Street. The call involved a 2-year-old girl who was reported unresponsive. Upon arrival, Officer Suardias encountered both parents, who urgently approached his patrol vehicle and informed him that their daughter was unresponsive and not breathing. The situation was dire, but Officer Suardias' training and swift response played a crucial role in the successful outcome. Observing the child was both cytonic and catatonic and gasping for air, Officer Suardias immediately reverted back to CPR training. He administered several back blows to the child, and after persistent efforts, the child began to cough and expulse large amounts of mucus. Most importantly, she started breathing on her own. What makes Officer Suardias' heroism even more commendable is his continued commitment to the well-being of the child. On the very next day, Officer Suardias revisited the residence to check on the victim. His gesture was met with heartwarming hero's welcome, complete with hugs, kisses, and relieved parents and the child. The family's gratitude was further expressed through the presentation of Christmas gifts, underscoring the profound impact Officer Suardias had on their lives. Officer Suardias' courage, quick thinking, and commitment to duty under extreme pressure were instrumental in saving the life of a 2-year-old child. His actions not only reflect his dedication to the principles of law enforcement, but also highlight the vital role that officers play in ensuring the safety and well-being of our community. His heroic efforts embody the highest standards of service, exemplifies the values of the West Miami Police Department. Congratulations, Officer Suardias. Would you like to say anything?
Speech.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for everyone coming out. It's an honor to work for this department, and I love doing my job every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I know everyone's gonna wanna say something, and I know the chief
He's a
is
very
gonna-
humble young man.
I
and,
can see that. I've seen that already from my interactions with him over the city.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he would prefer not to have this, but he's
That's-
very deserving.
that's the best way to have it. So, no, we're gonna have some comments. I think the chief has something he has to put on the officer's uniform, and we have some proclamations as well. But I'll start with the sponsor of the item, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ortiz.
Thank you. Officer Suarez, I'm so proud to sponsor this item and recognize you. As a mother of 2 little children, one of them being a 2-year-old girl, I cannot imagine, there's no words to thank you, right? Like, the family has no way to thank you. You're an exemplary part of our community, and I thank you so much for your service to our community. We also have, we have a few things to present to you shortly, but thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Job well done. And thank you for your service, and I'm sure that we'll be hearing a lot more from you. Be safe out there,
Thank you, sir.
and thank you for your service.
Commissioner Suarez?
Thank you very much, sir. I remember I watched in TV, then in the paper. So it's not only that you was a personality day, you really was a saver. You saved that girl, she will never forget, and the mother and the father and all us. We remember you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
So you should be very proud, and all the family should be proud of you, really. Thank you. And thank you, Chief, to have these kind of officers in our force.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm very proud of him.
I think this is now the second young officer in our department in the last, call it, couple months that has won the prestigious Officer of the Year award, Officer of the Month award, which I don't know what's in the water with the West Miami Police Department, because how many police departments are there in the county? 35, if you include?
35, 34.
34, and we have another Officer of the Month in West Miami for real heroism, right? And I said this before, and I say it again because it's worth repeating. The scandal is really loud, right? And the heroism is silent, especially police heroism, right? So whenever we have a situation like this that affects generationally, families for generations, because this little girl is, she's going to have, I think Commissioner Chavez said it at one point, she's going to have kids, and their kids are going to have kids, and that could have ended that day, right? So it affects generations of that family, and we, it's really an honor for us to celebrate that and honor that, and we're very glad that you're with our department, and we hope you grow with our department, and you're here servicing our residents for a very long time. So with that, let's go up to the front. I know the chief wants to make some.
Yes, I want to go ahead and, he's going to be presented with the silver life-saving medal, and I will place it on him at this point. This is not the one you wear with the uniform, it's the other one. This one is just, you want to go ahead and stand up there with him?
Proclamation from the city of West Miami, whereas the officers returning back to the CPR training. He has administered several backflows to the child, and after persistent efforts, the child began cough, exposed large mucus plug. Most importantly, she started breathing on her own, and what makes Officer Ortiz urgently more commendable is continued commitment to the well-being of the child. For the next day, Officer Ortiz visited residents to check on the victim. His gesture was met with heartwarming heroes welcome, new hugs and kisses, relieved parents and child. And this is a proclamation for Officer Anthony Suarez Diaz, from the city of West Miami.
Yes, I'll read this one for you. So last but not least, we have a district commendation from our county commissioner, Kevin Marino Cabrera. And I will read it, whereas Great American, Great American tennis player and social cause activist Arthur Ashe once profoundly stated, "True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost." And Miami-Dade County is committed to honoring those persons whose daily lives echo this sentiment. And on December 6, 2023, Officer Anthony Diaz responded to an emergency distress call that involved a 2-year-old girl who was unresponsive and not breathing. And whereas Officer Diaz observed that child was both psionic and catatonic and gasping for air, and he immediately reverted back to his CPR training as he administered several backflows to the child. And his persistent efforts rendered fruitful as the child began to cough, expulsible mucus, and most importantly, began to breathe on her own. And whereas Officer Diaz's concerns for the child did not end that day, as the next day he visited the child to check on her well-being. And he went and met with a hero's welcome to be fitted with the utmost gratitude, hugs, and thank yous. And whereas Officer Diaz's courage, quick thinking, and commitment to duty under extreme pressure were instrumental in saving a life, hence it is fitting and proper that official acknowledgement be given to this exceptional officer for this purpose. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Kevin Marino Cabrera, District 6 Commissioner of Miami-Dade County, Florida, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners and this community, do hereby commend Officer Anthony Suarez for placing the life of another person at the forefront, thanking him for his consistent efforts to protect as well as serve.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Another one. Okay, and then if we could get the family up in the picture. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna take it from the table. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Oh, you got the police picture too. Here, I'll-
One, two, three. Yep.
One more, please.
Commissioner Suarez?
No,
Okay.
VIP people.
Perfect. You're good.
I'll see you.
All right, now the fun stuff is over. And we have to go back to,
To the original order?
go to
Mr.
the,
Mayor?
back to the original order of the agenda, unfinished business, item
Yes,
10.
Item 10, unfinished business. Item 10A, this item was deferred at the January 10, 2024 Commission meeting. This is a public hearing. Property address 6470 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. Special use permit index number 2023-02. Applicant Fresh Fruit Mini Market, Carlos Abreu, Inc., 6480 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. Applicant requests a special use permit for the property at 6470 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. The property is zoned for C commercial, and the applicant is requesting to allow for a grocery store with heating food service and takeout and alcoholic beverages to be offered with food only. Zoning ordinance 282, section 281.
Okay, that was the resolution you read, right? That was A and B?
You want me to read the resolution, Mr. Mayor? That's the public hearing.
Yes,
what I read.
read the resolution, open the public hearing. I just, yeah, read the resolution already.
Okay, resolution of the City of West Miami for site plan accepting, amending, rejecting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board for a special use permit for 6470 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. Requirements for special use of certain building in the City of West Miami and in lieu of thereof requiring certain improvements and other terms and conditions, providing for an effective date.
Okay. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open. Would the council or the applicant please approach the podium?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and congratulations. The last time I saw you was Planning and Zoning Board, so welcome. My name is Bobby Behar, attorney with Gunster Law Firm, 600 Brickell Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33133. Here representing Frank from Frank's Fresh Fruit Market, the applicant. As you know, we're here today to obtain a special use permit, really to expand the existing use. This use has been existing for a number of years. They don't seek to increase any intensity or any type of use that doesn't already exist. It's really simply just to expand the staging and the storage into the accompanying building, the abutting building next door. In addition to the request to expand, we're taking the opportunity to change the site plan a little bit to really make it a little bit more efficient and address a lot of the concerns.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that you're expanding the services, but the services only expand to moving.
Yeah. So right now it's just the corner building.
Yeah.
And then it used to be an auto garage, some type of auto use next door. They're going to do the storage for all the fruits and the food, as well as a display area. There's going to be no kitchen, no cleaning, no cooking. None of that will take place on the new building. It's purely just a staging. There's not going to be any increase in seating. There's not going to be any increase in any cooking. It's just the same operation, just with more storage and display areas.
So why is it a special use permit?
Oh, that's the way the code works.
Well, let's.
Because I'm under the impression.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor. Wait, can we just?
Yeah, I could finish.
Yeah,
or-
well, I'll get you on the first round of questions, but let's just let the council finish the presentation, and then you can grill them right after.
So as, since we're going through the process, and we are going to expand into, we're also taking advantage and changing up the site plan a little bit. We're going to do parking. So I don't know if you've been to the site, but there's that corner, the parking's right there on that side street. We're going to kind of rearrange that a little bit to create more drive aisle width. In addition, there's going to be 9 parking spaces added in the rear of the new building. There's going to be an addition of a loading space along the alley, on site, not in the alley, but just right along the alley. And then there's going to be another drive aisle / secondary exit through that second property. We feel that these addresses really a lot of concerns, or all the concerns of staff, but also neighbors. I'm sure you guys are aware, staff and neighbors have shared some concerns of the existing conditions on site, causes some spillover into, and parking and some trash into the neighboring area. While we do believe that it is a concern, some of that is not necessarily ours. Some of those loading zones are part of the other commercial areas. But nonetheless, we are here to address that. Frank's has become a staple in this community. A lot of people go there for fresh produce at low prices, much lower than kind of the supermarkets and other farmers markets in the area. So it's really, with popularity becomes a lot of traffic, a lot of headaches, and this is trying to address those. So for better or worse, the existing conditions were approved kind of no fault of anybody here. It's a little deficient, and this will address that. We've met with staff, probably double digits amount of times now to kind of find the best solution, what works the best for everybody, not just Frank. When neighbors complain, it reflects back on the business, so it doesn't help him either way. He's here to try to really improve. So some of those things, as I was saying, it's really for storage. Right now in the front of the building, there's some seating. Then you have kind of in the more centralized portion of the building, you have the produce. And then there's like hot and ready food that you can order. That food and display area for that and the fruits will go into that secondary building. There's not going to be an expansion of seats. There won't be, there's no bar currently. There's not going to be a bar. There's none of that. It's produce and storage in the next building, and then just kind of improving the site and the functionality. As I mentioned before, it is the addition of 9 parking spaces. As mentioned in the staff's recommendation, we are meeting the code requirements for parking and for the other zoning requirements. We are also adding that loading space on site, and it will be marked so drivers can clearly see where to park and how to access the site. We are modifying the existing parking, the internal layout and drive aisles to have a better flow and not create so much spillover into the area. We are adding the drive aisle through the rear and the secondary exit, and we're also updating the trash location so that there is better circulation on site. It doesn't block anything. With this, also ADA has been addressed. Make sure we have our handicap spaces as well. So as I stated, we have met with staff numerous times. They've gone through it. They've addressed the issues. We feel that we have addressed the issues, not just in the site plan, but currently in practice the last few months. We've really taken into consideration what the neighbors have said about just traffic and trash and loading into the area. I personally gave my number to some of the people that were here at the planning and zoning meeting. I know Frank has as well. Neither of us have received any calls or complaints in the last few months since those meetings. So I feel like we're here to work with the community, and I feel like they're aware of that and they've heard those complaints. And I think this plan will really finalize that. Unfortunately, you can only do so much without changing the existing conditions that are little deficient, and we hope this plan will do that. We request your favorable approval consistent with staff's recommendation and with the Planning and Zoning Board's recommendation of approval. Thank you.
Great. Vice Mayor?
Is this the end of your presentation?
Yeah, just now reserve some time for rebuttal and questions.
So I know how it sounds, but I don't know what it looks like. You don't have a site plan? You don't have any?
The site plan should have been provided. We submitted all that. That was provided to all the board members.
Well, I don't have one, so is it in here?
Yes, item 10A.
Yeah, no, that was definitely provided. We've met with staff numerous times.
It's page 28.
Has an SP1 on the bottom, site 25 in the right bottom corner.
We need a magnifying glass to see this. It would have been nice if you would have made a presentation and point out all those things you talked about the extra parking and the loading areas. I have an issue with this. This is the first time I look at this, and it's at a scale where I can't really look at this and make a decision.
That package is provided by staff. We don't have a say in how it's printed or what goes in there. The size is not.
That's something maybe you should have looked at previously before coming here.
I mean, I don't have access to
I'm
that,
not
I'm
going to
sorry.
make a decision on this. I don't know enough about this. I know that this is going to affect the residents, it's going to affect the traffic, it's going to affect a lot of things. And from looking at this, I can't make a decision on it.
Well, what are your questions? I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and we could walk through it.
I can't tell. I can't see anything.
Is there a way that the IT can put the record onto the screen? It's in the public record. So.
If we would have had a presentation where it could have been viewed there publicly, and you would have pointed out all those things you talked about,
Yes.
the extra parking, the loading area, going out the back, not the front, the sides, all those things. I mean, I know how it sounds, but I want to see what it looks like.
No, I understand.
And so on that account, I can't decide on this.
I understand. No, I know they gave you a presentation, so I was going to use that one as a guide.
And I urge my colleagues not to decide on this tonight until we know exactly how this is going to happen, because it's going to affect the residents.
No, I'm
There's
well aware.
residents that live right behind that, that establishment.
No, and
So-
we've met with those residents, and we've met with staff
So
to address all those
sitting
concerns.
where I sit, okay, I have to be very mindful of that, because, when they have a complaint, they're going to be calling me, they're going to be calling the mayor, they're going to be calling the vice mayor, so unless you can make a presentation, that's going to convince me that what they're doing is going to be something that's not going to affect the residential area, I'll be willing to look at it, but not with this, not tonight.
Respectfully, Vice Mayor, I've been talking with staff on this because I had this beforehand in the packet. And over the last couple of months, because it was deferred once already, right? And we had people come from residents.
It was deferred twice. The
Deferred
first time
twice,
was
right?
ours to continue working with staff. The second time was lack of quorum.
Right. So, and we've directed residents to come to speak with you guys. How many meetings have you guys had with the applicant?
I mean, it's going before even planning and
With
zoning.
myself, there's been at least 2 to 3 meetings that I'm aware of, that maybe, I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Yeah, I know the
With staff, substantially more than that.
And have you spoken to residents on this issue?
At the meeting, at the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, we did speak with residents. We spoke with residents afterwards. At the last one that was deferred, I also spoke to residents. We did put out a mailer saying that it was going to be heard again to all the immediate residents of the business.
Right. So on the issue of, because these are the issues that I know of, right? We have parking, we have the delivery, right? Those are really, and the other issue is the trash, which has nothing to do with special use permit. On the delivery aspect, I believe there's already, putting aside the loading station for a second, there was already a change in that they amended, or they agreed to prior to the special use, and the size of the vehicle.
The time of the deliveries and the locations, they've been doing them on-site. Part of the contingencies that the Planning and Zoning Board looked at was to ensure that they could not do any loading off of the streets anymore. It would have to be all internal to the site.
Right, so you're going to take the delivery truck, which has been an issue, right? And you're going to move it on-site with that loading area adjacent to the alley.
Correct.
Correct. So that issue is off the table. That's a contingency that's already placed into the special use permit. That's off the table. That's not something that is
And
an
the
issue
applicant
anymore.
has agreed to that.
Okay.
And I think also, in terms of the deliveries, so one of the neighbors brought a number of pictures, And some of those delivery trucks are not part of Frank's, they're not part of
You
this
can
business.
control your delivery trucks. Your delivery
No,
trucks.
no, I know, I just want to make sure it's
Right.
not a bias towards us on somebody else's.
No, I understand
business.
that. Your delivery trucks,
Yeah.
contingent special use, so obviously, I'm not going to put that on you guys, like, insult you. I'm saying, if you chose not to abide by that for whatever reason, which would be ridiculous, because you have a loading zone in this special use, that would be a violation of special use
course.
permit. Okay. So, the next thing is the parking, right? So you guys are not adding tables.
Correct.
You're not adding tables.
No tables are being added.
So,
And we're actually reducing the number of staff,
Right.
because since we're able to expand into the thing and we have more storage capabilities, we can actually produce the food and store the food, at a greater volume, as opposed to having to constantly update it due to lack of storage.
Right,
So
so
we'll
I'm
be able to
looking at-
reduce the number of employee parking spaces.
I'm looking at today versus tomorrow, right? So today, so to throw out numbers, today, there's 10 tables, I'm just gonna, don't correct me on this.
That's
just-
fine.
There's 10 tables, and tomorrow there's 10 tables, right?
Correct.
Today, there's how many parking spots?
We're increasing by 9, so I believe we're going to 27, so 19.
So there's
Or,
nine-
sorry, 18.
There's 18 parking spots today, and we're gonna do a 50% increase in parking.
Yes.
So-
I mean, if it's 18, yes.
So, yeah, a 15% increase in parking, 50%, 50% increase in parking, but no new tables.
Correct, no new tables. No new tables, no expansion of the intensity of the use, no expansion of extra uses or amenities or anything like that.
So the way I'm viewing it, honestly, it's fixing the problem we have, right? Which is parking and delivery, right? If this, I mean, just put it this way, this application is not approved, and I don't like to play devil advocate with, if not approved, you're gonna sue. No, if this application is not approved, right, is there any other way to add the parking? Or is this, it's just through this
This
application?
is the only way to add parking or to even fix the existing parking layout on site.
So, yeah, so that's where I am. That's where I'm at. I mean, I know staff has put a lot of time into negotiating this. I know planning and zoning took a hard look at it. I know they put contingencies that were, I think, pretty
Yeah, we had a
pretty
number of
strict.
meetings. I think we had 3 total planning and zoning meetings.
And for me, from what I know, everyone has different interactions with residents, not on the special use, but generally on the area, like the Vice Mayor mentioned. I'm sure he's made, and sure other commissioners have had interactions with residents in that area, and it's come up, right? My view is that it's fixing the problem, right? You're getting the extra parking, you're getting your trucks off the streets, and I don't know what else, what else I would ask for. in
Well,
that.
none of that parking, so by changing the layout and adding more drive aisle and wider drive aisle, it also stops the stacking, right?
Mhm.
So if people are trying to get into the spot, they can circulate better. It's not before you have to do
Right, you don't
a
have the queuing of
4-point
the
turn
cars.
to get out of a
Of course.
spot, things like that, which also have improvements, especially off-site,
Yeah.
down the block.
Yeah. Let me ask before I go to the rest of the council here for questions. Do we have a recommendation from staff?
Yes, it's staff's recommending approval.
Just want to hear from staff.
Staff is recommending approval contingent of all the conditions that were put on from the Planning and Zoning Board. One of the ones that we haven't discussed yet is we're also going to be putting no parking signs on that street.
On which street?
That's 65th.
On the avenue.
Yes. And I know we also discussed, and it's something that.
So I'm sorry, to interrupt you. So today people can park on 65th?
Yes, sir, and they do.
And they do?
And that's been an issue because they've been blocking some of those residences'
Of course, that affects the residents.
driveways.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
affecting those residents, and one of the conditions that we put on it would be with putting no parking signs on that street, that they cannot expand seating, they cannot, and they would have to live to all the conditions that were of their first hearing, which includes no music no loud music on the outside, just music on the inside, and really what this is basically a staging area for them to showcase their products.
So today, there's X amount of tables, tomorrow, there is the same amount of tables.
Correct.
There is 18 parking spots today, tomorrow there's 27. Today, people park on 65th Avenue, which impacts residents, tomorrow they do not. Today, there's deliveries that are on the avenue,
Mhm.
right? tomorrow they are on your property on the loading dock. And I'm saying tomorrow, obviously, is what happened tomorrow. I'm just
Of
saying.
course.
Before and after application. Obviously, those music issues were already taken care of in the additional special use, right?
Yeah, it doesn't operate, it doesn't operate in that method anyways, but with those, either way, we still comply with them because they existed before and they continue to
All
exist.
right, I'm gonna let the rest of the council speak so I can shut up for a second. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, this is this mini site plan that we have here, I have here, is some kind of confusion. Like Commissioner Blanes said, some kind of confusion. You have to demolish one wall, right? To open the space for the new parking lot.
Yeah, there will
Now,
be access.
I don't see here very clear how it's going to be the entrance, how it's going to be the exit. Now-
You're saying for patrons?
Now, it is change of use too?
No.
Because
Well, change of
because-
use, well, let the council respond to that.
Because this was a body shop.
Yes.
So you have entrance and out. Now, DOT have something to do with this because this is going to be, the store is going to be like a store, selling store.
It's zone commercial, the block, so DOT doesn't get involved unless we would do some type of roadway improvement, right-of-way improvement. And as far as the use, would be through the building department to change.
Where was the body shop? It's a long area. And you see they have some bars to one car go in on one side and on the other side. Now, if the idea they presented, they make an exhibition, right? They are not going to put tables for eat. They are not going to put bars. They are not going to put, but they are going to put. They are going to expose merchandise, right? You are going to expose merchandise.
No, everything will be internal.
It'll be inside
Everything's
the
gonna be
existing
inside.
building.
Yeah, but if the front here, inside of this area, is going to be exposed merchandise.
I'm not sure what you mean, exposed merchandise.
You mean
Well,
display?
you see a mango, you see
Yeah,
a
the
avocado.
display.
Right, well,
You
in
see-
the existing area, it's
No,
open
no, the
air.
existing area has nothing to do with this.
But the new area is storefront, glazed windows.
I see this confused. This
There's going to
site
be
plan
no,
is, to me, it don't represent totally the idea that you present. And I don't see the entrance and the exit, because, you know, we have people living in the 9th Street. And the people who live in the 9th Street, they have the same right, the voice, opinion, like Frank. You know, they have two parties. Everybody has rights.
oh, 100%, we agree.
understand
And,
that?
but the entrance is still on,
From where?
from the 9th Street where it currently exists. And then
From 9th Street for the alley?
so no, there's the alley behind the property protecting the homes from the
alley
site.
behind the property finish where the church is, right?
Yeah, it goes past
With the-
this
with
property.
The church, with the clinic is. And this is confusing. To me, the site
Wha-
plan, I don't have, I never had a larger site plan like this.
We did not, we're not involved with the printing
Well,
and
no,
giving
but
you
I
the
tell you-
packets, so
I tell
I
you-
don't think we're not controlling the size, right?
I
May-
tell you, to
May
me, this is confused. To me, I don't see really clear your presentation here. I mean, no yours person.
No,
Presentation of this.
I'm aware, but since we didn't do that, I mean, I'd be happy to walk it through with you and answer questions, but since we didn't print it,
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Table.
yeah.
I also had a comment.
Yeah, hold your comment for 1 second. I saw the manager looking at me for,
I do want to address a couple of things only. Commissioner Suarez is talking about the wood structure that's in the back. That will have to be removed. That wood structure that he has there now will have to be removed, because that's the access way to the new parking spaces. The covered terrace in the front, the proposed canvas, is by plan and by their proposal here, covered continues existing use, ornamental purposes only. They will not be able to use it for display area.
It's also glazing, so everything will be internal. It's windows. So-
Internal, but inside the building will be something.
I mean, yeah, but of course, inside the building there will be something.
Will be no bar, will be no kitchen,
No,
will be tables with
no,
chairs.
no.
So will be merchandise.
Yes.
That's what I call disposable merchandise.
Okay, so what is the concern with the merchandise being inside the storefront?
What I mean is that people have to park the car, get out from the car and walk around, look around.
Right, but there will be.
Same thing you do now in the actual area. The actual area, you get out from the car and you are going to see the bananas and you see the oranges because it's a fruit place.
Right,
Same
but
thing.
the parking
But
is in
it
the
will be-
rear.
Will be parallel to the 8th Street.
No, sir. The parking is in the rear of the building?
No, I mean the building. The building is, facing 8th Street.
Okay.
That's what I mean, that area. And only, how many cars to park you can park?
Their cars will not be parked there in the
No,
front.
and
The
nothing
the
in the
parking
front.
is in the side
So the
and in the
building is
rear.
going to be construct a new building, a new area.
No, it's going to be a canopy in front of the actual building, and that area will be empty. There's going to be a barricade along the front that doesn't let anybody park there. That will just be an exit for cars to exit the property.
Well, that's what I mean. To me, this plan is confusing to me.
I mean, on the plan, it says, it's marked proposed canvas, continued existing ornamental purposes only, no tables in that area, there will be no display in that
I
area.
heard that, no, I know. But the problem is not only that, there's a parking in the cars, in the people.
But there's no parking there. And it's not allowed, we're not going to have parking spaces there, it's going to be blocked,
What
so there
I
will
mean,
be
the
no
parking
way.
is the neighbors.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, let's come back.
Let me explain you. There are neighbors there, and the neighbors park the cars in the street, because we have a street parking. Our streets have a
Yes.
street parking.
But we're putting no parking signs, so they won't be allowed to park there anymore. That was part of the condition of approval, no parking signs.
Commissioner Leon Orbis.
Thank you. There's obviously a level of hesitation here from my colleagues.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask, Mr. Manager, you mentioned that we might potentially be having a special meeting later this month. Would
That
that
is-
allow perhaps the time to have a presentation done that we can put up so we can visually see this, and it wouldn't cost the applicant this much time to lose, a lot of time in being able to get this done, bring it back at that
The problem
point?
with that would be notice. I'm not
Right.
sure we would have enough time for a proper notice.
If it's continued, does it have to be renoticed?
If it's continued,
Or we could just pick up?
technically not, right? It wouldn't have to be renoticed.
If it's continued, they don't need.
public hearing
we don't have
doesn't
to redo
close.
a notice, correct?
They actually would not need it, I mean, if announced, we would not need an additional notification to the rest of the community because we already have done that, have we not?
Yeah, let's do this. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor. If you agree with my suggestion, okay, anyone, go ahead
I
first.
just
Go
want
ahead,
to make
go
something-
ahead.
Just to be clear, okay? What's your name?
Bobby
Bobby.
Behar, yes.
Bob, please don't take this personal. And Frank, don't take this personal. This commission decides yea or nay if you guys are going to obtain a special use permit. I am sure that you and Frank presented a great presentation to staff. And, but typically, you were hired to come here and make a presentation to us. We are the ones that vote and decide yes or no. So basically, like Vice Mayor Orbis says, I'm a visual person, okay? I know what it sounds like, but I don't know what it looks like. Typically, when people come up here for a special use permit, they make a presentation. And they got pictures, they got the site plan, they got everything that you spoke about, we're going to be able to see visually. I've seen nothing. And from looking at this, I agree with Commissioner Suarez, this is very confusing. Everything that you talked about storage, everything you talked about going out the back, going out the front, parking on the sides, the additional 9 parking spaces, I don't know where the heck they're at. Where are they? I mean, I don't know. Are they here? So unless you guys can come up and make a really good visual presentation where we all can see exactly how this business is going to transact, you know, I can't make a decision.
Let's do this,
You can't
Vice.
expect me to make a decision.
Let's do this, Vice Mayor, because you know I like to run my meetings efficiently. So, let's do this. Let's, well, assuming we get the votes here, let's continue the item, right? Let's have yourself get with staff, to see either with your own presentation on the screens, or I know in the past what the Vice Mayor is referring to is the city provided, large elevations and plans. Get with staff, let's figure that out, make sure that we have, a solid presentation for the commission, with visuals and et cetera. And I would encourage my colleagues also to get with staff prior. Maybe some questions we get knocked out prior, and you can have more detailed questions for council as well, following, because we're going to continue it, so we might as well take advantage of the opportunity. And let's do that. I mean, I think that works best. I don't want to delay us further tonight. We're not going to get anywhere. Go ahead.
Mayor, it has to be a date certain, and it's the day to discuss the recreation center as well. I'd like to make it two weeks from today.
Okay, so what date is that? That the 20th? Okay.
March 20th,
March
sir.
20th.
So let's continue it till March 20th. And we'll call a special commission meeting
Yes.
anyways for the recreation center, and we'll add it to that agenda.
At 6 p.m., sir.
Okay, beautiful. We're continuing this item. Do we need a vote to continue it, or just, do we need a vote? All in favor of continuing this item?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Beautiful. Public hearing is not going to close. It is to be continued. And we'll see you on March 20th, and we hope, Okay, so look, I think all of us want any issues that, we have a great business. All of us want any issues that will come from the residents to be solved, and my colleagues have a special interest in making sure that they don't hear the complaints after, right? So.
No, totally understandable.
So
We'll bring a
let's make
presentation.
sure- Let's make sure
and-
the presentation is clear and that everyone can vote, correctly with their conscience and with information and,
So-
Absolutely.
So Bobby, just to be clear, I want to see
March 20th.
a visual
Lasagna.
presentation of how the business is going to conduct itself. I want to know where everything is. I want to know the exits, the entrances. I want to know where those 9 parking lots, additional parking spots are.
Yeah, it's on the site plan, so we'll bring the site
the-
plan, and then we'll make sure to mark it up and put an arrow if we have to, and...
Typically, every time that someone's asked for a special use permit, they make a visual presentation. They show east, west, north, south, the roads, the parking, everything. I mean, I know what it sounds like, but I can't visualize it.
No problem, that's my bad.
And
I thought you guys had a
please don't
presentation
take
in
it
front of you,
personal.
so I just was operating on
Don't take it
that,
personal,
but
Frank.
that's
But,
my bad, and I'll make sure to have it next time.
You're asking me to make a decision that I just don't have enough information.
All right, well, so we're continued, we're moving on. Thank
Thank you.
you, thank you.
Mr. Council, remember that we have people who ask questions to us. And then we have to have clear mind, the answer that we are going to tell them. The difference are going to be this and this, so we have to be sure what is going to be done.
Let's,
No, I'm aware. We've been dealing with those same
Okay.
people, so I'm aware, and we'll make sure to
Thank
get
you.
you those answers, so you can
you.
handle it accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Next item. Well, a new business. Madam Clerk, I want to add an item to the new business agenda for the end of the agenda. It is a resolution to call for a special charter review board to look at the election section. Can I get can we get a vote to add it to the agenda?
I'll move it.
Move it. The second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That'll be added to the end of the agenda. I'll discuss it and bring a title. Next item, order the agenda, the public hearing.
Yes.
And
Mr.
please
Mayor.
read the resolution along with it, please.
Yes, item 11, under new business agenda item. This is the item 11A, public hearing, property address 2121-2123, Southwest 66th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33155. Special use permit for planned development index number 2024-01. Applicant J. Santana Investments Incorporated, P.O. Box 565-448, Miami, Florida 33256. Item B, a resolution of the City of West Miami, Florida for site plan accepting, amending, rejecting the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board for a special use permit number 2024-001 for property located at 2021-2023 Southwest 66th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33155 for J. Santana Investments Incorporated for a two-story construction of a duplex residence requiring certain improvements and other terms and conditions attached as Exhibit A, providing for an effective date.
Please, mic is yours.
Alan Marcus on behalf of my clients, J. Santan Investments, Inc. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, City Manager, and City Attorney. We're seeking here to obtain and secure a special use permit and variance, which has already been approved, in order to redevelop an existing one-story duplex into a two-story duplex townhome. This item has already gone before the Planning and Zoning Board, who has approved this unanimously on February 28, 2024. The city manager has also recommended the approval on January 31st, 2024. The summary is all we're seeking to do is comply with the requirements of the city to be able to expand this townhome or this duplex, and the only way we can do it is build a second story to be in compliance. We've submitted the plans. The plans provide for, and this is an R2 zoned area, and this particular type of special use permit has been already confirmed to other properties in the city of West Miami. So we're asking for something that's, has already been approved in the past. To give the specifics, that after this would be approved, we would be in compliance with the green space area. In fact, it would be reduced much lower than the amount that is required under the code now. The green space area, which the minimum is 35%, we would be 50% of the property. So we would be greater than the green space by 15%. The total lot coverage, which is the maximum would be 35, we would be 30%. So we achieve all the results of keeping within the constraints, and in order to build this particular townhome or increase the space so that it's in conformity with what other properties of this type, so the uses are for the property owner. The only way to be able to achieve this is to put a second story on. I think it's pretty simple in that manner. I know it's something that has to go before you to vote on. I'm certainly here, and my clients are here to answer any questions. The intent is not to create any other issues other than to increase the space by building upwards and stay within the conformity of the code.
So I'll start off. And then just repeat back to me some of the things you said. It is already an R2 zone district.
Correct.
We're not changing any zoning.
Correct.
Okay. Number two, is there any other reason you would need to get a special use permit except for the second story?
Well, again, the hardship on the party owning it is that they can't in any way, shape, or form.
Well, let me clarify, because I don't want you to fall into the trap. A special use permit, as you know, doesn't require hardship, right? But, and the reasons for the ordinance that we have goes back to the early 2000s, and it was rather political. But I'm saying if you were to build a one-story duplex at this property, you would not need to come here for a special use permit. You would do it as of right, correct?
That's correct. But
So
we
the only
would-
reason you were here is for the two-story.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Okay.
And
I'm in
if we
favor.
build it one story, to achieve this, we would go and
You
and
get higher lot
violate
coverage.
the green
of
space
course.
and the
Yeah,
lot space.
I'm in favor. This
Yes.
is, yeah, these have been passed, these have been approved in the past, regularly.
Right.
Vice Mayor, go
You
ahead.
got a visual presentation, Counselor?
No, I don't, because I didn't think there was a need, because, to
I'm
be
kidding.
candid,
I'm
I understand, because this would be just going straight up, and not much to see.
Okay.
Kidding.
I got it.
Thanks.
It was a good question.
Can I ask you the same question?
They were
So,
sweating
okay,
over there.
This is an area, this is a duplex area. This is an area that, we have, Mr. Manager, we have all the
Looks very nice.
distances, according with the code, right?
They exceed the distances. The back setback to the structure is 35 feet, where substantially less is required. They meet the 25 feet. They exceed the requirements for green spaces. I will do one correction. One of the reasons why we're here is a special use to allow a two-story, where our code only allows for one story. The other, there is a variance for square footage allowed, because our code always contemplated everything would be built in one story. Now that we're doing a box over a box, there's a variance, a small variance request for additional square feet, but they do exceed the setbacks in the rear, and they meet the setbacks on sides and front.
Okay,
And
so,
was recommended with any restrictions or any,
No, there was no conditions. There was
No conditions?
recommended unanimously for approval.
well, that area is a duplex area.
Yes.
It's a recommendation are for approval, right?
The recommendation from the planning and zoning and from
I'm all-
staff was for approval, yes, sir.
well, let's first get the rest, if you can hold your motion for a moment.
Are there any balconies on the side?
That I'd have to ask.
Let's get the architect.
This is the
The
code.
plans do not show, the plans indicate a balcony in the rear, not on the
Yeah,
sides.
in the rear.
Because typically, we've had this kind of request in the past, and basically, we want to make sure that if there's a balcony, it doesn't affect, the neighbor.
Facing
know,
to the neighbor, it's in the code, I think we have in the code.
Right,
There's two balconies in the rear,
In the rear, but,
one for each duplex.
but in the side?
No,
No, I
So,
think,
so it's in
they're
the
just
rear.
on one side of on the
So it'll be
rear of the
facing
building.
the rear,
If
do
you
you
have your
know the
package,
property?
I don't know if you have it, I can show it to you.
They have, they're showing a balcony in the rear that's
So,
35 feet to the property line.
so that's about, so the other property would be here, and it would be facing, okay, all right, so there's no balconies here. Okay, all right.
And just to be clear, there was a notice, a 500 radius feet notice.
Sir, you have to show the, excuse me, sir, you have to show the document to all of the commissioners.
No,
I asked them if they
the
wanted
document's in
to
the
see
packet,
it.
though.
We did.
Document's in the
We
packet.
have it,
think-
we have it.
I think, see, no,
We have it in the packet.
Commissioner Emiliano Orbis, you haven't spoken. Go ahead.
No, I'm good, I'm
You
good.
want to see it?
No, I
No,
have.
you want to speak? or
Because
you
in
want
the
to-
code, in our code, there is no balcony to the
Thank you.
facing lot.
Okay.
That's
Well,
why.
Commissioner
Back
Suarez
is
has a
no
motion.
problem.
Commissioner Suarez, you made a motion.
Make a motion, yes,
Okay.
approve.
You have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Emiliano Orbis?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes,
Vice Mayor Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes, we might have to do this again. The public hearing is now closed. Now, please make your motion. Make your motion again. I didn't close the public hearing. Motion, Commissioner Suarez,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Blanes. Call the roll again.
Okay, Commissioner Emiliano Orbis?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
yes.
Vice Mayor Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes,
4-0, item passes.
thank you.
Thank you so much, appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Next item, please. We're almost getting there.
No, it's just a resolution, yeah.
Thank you very much. Are we good? Everything good?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
we're
next
good.
item?
Item D, report by the Office of the City Clerk in reference to the end of qualifying period and terms.
Go ahead.
So the qualifying period for the West Miami municipal elections of April 9, 2024 officially ended on Friday, February 23, 2024 at 12 noon, and the following candidates qualified: Eric Diaz-Padrón for mayor, Ivan Chavez Jr. for commissioner, and Natalie Milian Orbis for commissioner. So pursuant to the city charter, section 303D, in the event that there are not more than the necessary number of candidates to fill all expired terms of the council, no election shall be held, and each of said candidates shall be elected to office, and the office of the vice mayor shall be determined by lot. The office of the vice mayor was determined by lot, and the terms of the elected officials are outlined as follows. Eric Diaz-Padrón will serve 2-year terms as mayor. Natalie Milian Orbis will serve a 4-year term, 2-year terms as vice mayor and 2-year term as commissioner. And Ivan Chavez Jr. will serve a 4-year term as commissioner. So the induction ceremony will take place on Monday, April 15, 2024 at 8 p.m. in accordance to Article 1, Section 2-1 of the City Code. So this is respectfully submitted by your city clerk.
Thank you. And I heard you call Commissioner Milian Orbis vice mayor earlier.
Yes.
You can't do that yet. Can't do
Not
that yet.
yet.
You gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow the rules until April,
Okay.
until
April 15.
April
So
15th.
the pressure's still on.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item, please.
Item 11E, appointment of new Planning and Zoning Board member to fill the vacancy resulting for Natalie Milian Orbis' appointment to the City Commission. This item is sponsored by Vice Mayor Blanes.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor, your
Yes,
appointment.
it gives me great pleasure to nominate Alex Diaz to the Planning and Zoning Board. Mr. Diaz has roots here in the city of West Miami. He was born here, raised here. His sister lives here, his other brother lives here, his mother lives here. His father, my good friend Felix Diaz, was city clerk here in the city of West Miami for many years. So I think he would be a great addition to the planning and zoning, and we hope to having him for many years of service. So
That's fantastic. I mean, I think we all know Alex Diaz, and he's doing a great job on the Recreation Advisory Board. And I didn't know that was, but that's a fantastic appointment. That's great. I look forward to him being there and increasing his level of service to the community.
Yes, I have his information.
Yeah, I'm Vice Mayor.
It's your seat, so.
It's my seat, yeah, so I'm happy to hear that's an excellent choice. I know he's been a lifelong resident, his family as well, and I know he's served on our boards, and I think it's an excellent choice. If I'm happy to second the motion.
Well, I don't think you need a motion, but.
Okay.
But
I
We'll take him.
support the appointment. And I know he will do great on the board.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's documented. Item F, which
Item F is your add-on
right, my
item.
pocket item, a resolution to call for a special charter review board to look at the election section of the charter. The idea is for appointments to be made by the commission as usual at our April meeting or at the March 20th meeting. We can do either one. It will not be like the other charter reviews that would look at the whole charter. It was just looking at that one section with the goal of any recommendations that come out of there to be on the ballot for the November general election. So with that, can I get a motion on this? If anyone doesn't have any questions on this? I mean, very simple. Call it,
Motion.
till it comes out.
Second.
You have all in favor, say aye.
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 So we'll do appointments on either March 20th or in our first April meeting. Hopefully do an organizational meeting in April, the Charter Review Board, and hope, we have until July 26th, I believe, to get ballot language in of any changes you want to make. And this is, again, just going to focus on that section of the charter. So with that, does anyone have anything they need to or want to pull out of the consent agenda to speak on?
I think,
Go ahead.
I think the Commissioner Suarez's idea about the proclamation to a resident that has a great holiday display.
Yeah, 10 and 3.
I
You saw the
think,
concert house?
I think that's great. You know,
Beautiful.
throughout the years, our residents have taken great
My
pride
God.
in decorating their homes. I mean, some of them go all out, so I think, thank you. I thank you
No,
for,
neighbors, the other, Coral Gables in Miami, and they come around.
yeah?
Yeah, no, I saw that one. I saw that one. No, that's a good idea. Let's,
It's beautiful. Yeah.
let's make sure we get the list out from, I guess, source from residents who, you know, which are the ones you want to do, Commissioner, but I'll leave that to you.
Mayor, I wanted to quickly highlight
go
two
for it.
proclamations that we have on the agenda today
Go
for
for it, Commissioner.
approval. So the first one is B, it's a proclamation declaring the month of March as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. This request came to us from Commissioner Stern from the City of Aventura, and I'm happy to oblige and sponsor this. Colorectal cancer is something that's very personal to me. My uncle passed away from this a few years ago, Pedro Milian, and he was very, special to my family, but also a great community member. And I'm happy to, if nothing else, bring awareness to this cause. It's something that can be totally preventable if caught. So, sponsoring this on behalf of the city, happy to do that. And the other item is proclaiming the month of March as Women's History Month. As we know, Women's History Month is celebrated nationally in the month of March. Happy to bring that to our city, and hopefully looking forward to your support. And I thank you to the city clerk. Tomorrow I invite all the ladies from the city of West Miami, all the wonderful women that work with us and that provide services to our city every day to join us for a photo dressed in pink so we can celebrate International Women's Day on Friday the 8th. And we'll be sharing that photo then. So I invite you tomorrow. We'll be taking a photo around lunchtime at City Hall.
Great.
Thank you for your support.
Good.
With that, get a motion on the consent agenda items.
Motion.
You have a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Go to the order. Anyone for go to the order?
I got something.
Go for it, Vice Mayor.
I read something somewhere that said that the worst thing that you can do is not do anything for the thought that you could only do little. And like the mayor said, anytime something bad happens, there's so much attention and focus on it. You turn your TV on, any channel, any radio station, typically what they're focusing on is something bad, something negative. So I think that by doing these things that are on the consent agenda and recognizing our officers, and for that matter, anybody here that can be recognized, and that we can focus attention and bring this positive energy to bear, I think we're doing a great thing. Imagine if you turn on your TV and you went to any channel and they would be talking about good things, positive things, things that are wonderful. The world will change overnight. It'll be a different world. It wouldn't be the type of world that we're living in. So anything that we can do to do that, I would like all of us to work on that. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Like our hashtag says, West Miami proud.
Anyone else for good of the order? Nope, seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Oh, we need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Meeting adjourned.